So we talked about this topic with my class on Monday, and I wanted to make a short video here to share the same thought, share the same topic with you as well, because I think it's super valuable. The question is, why do companies need to think and act like media companies and publishers rather than advertisers? It's such an important topic, and I don't see it being discussed as often as I think it should. So what does it mean? What does it mean for a company to act and think like a publisher? Well, in the old way, in the old times, was when companies were doing what they were good at doing, what they created their products, they created their services, they created their website, they created all the logos and brand materials and all of that. And eventually they waited for press and other people to notice them and write and talk about them, right? So they would look out for that word of mouth, they would look out for that PR opportunity, but they would wait for other people to notice them and write about them. So in the new way, when the companies think like a publisher and become a content creating machine in a way, they are their own PR. They create their own content. They talk about what they do and they document what they do and their journey. So they create their own PR, they create their own buzz basically. So essentially what you're doing is you're building your brand, you're building that value, you're creating the perception that you want people to have about your brand. And that's an incredible opportunity that brands have in their hands if they do this right. And this is different than saying we're the best company, we have the best product, we have the best service, we're the top in our industry and all of that. It's not the self-promotion. It is more so that inspirational, educational, or informational, whatever it's called, that type of content that you build around your brand, your products and services. It's not necessarily shouting out to the world that you're the best and you have these features in your product and they are outstanding and all of that. It's really the documentation of what you're doing, and essentially it boils down to creating value for your audience. And you know what? Essentially, this is the right way of doing content marketing. It is the right way to bring inbound leads to you, to become the publisher and bring those inbound leads to you, because you're building the brand, you're building that right perception, the value, reputation for your brand. So people, your audience, your prospects are coming to you, they're choosing you, they want to learn more about you because they've been following your journey and because you built a reputation and because they have trust in you. And here you might be thinking, how do we keep that content consistent and what do we keep talking about all the time? Gary Vee has a great suggestion in a video on this topic, and he says, don't create, document. If you don't have something to say, if you don't know where to begin, if you don't know what to say, then start documenting, start talking about your journey, maybe do a Q&A show, maybe do a series of interviews on a podcast, maybe start a YouTube channel sharing your own journey of building that brand, building that business, but start somewhere. The good thing about becoming the voice for your own brand, becoming that publisher, is that first you build the audience, first you build the reputation and you build that trust, then you build your products and services on top of it, which makes selling much easier. The other piece is that it's not only the brand that creates that content, that creates that information. You need the team involvement, and there are some brands that have been doing an outstanding job at this and that I enjoy following so much. But the approach is that if you are going to do this, you need the team on board with you, and creating content becomes the job for the whole team instead of just the marketing team. All right, let me wrap up the conversation by giving a couple of examples from companies that are doing a great job at this. A couple that I really love following are VaynerMedia, Buffer, Gong, Drift, and HubSpot, my first ever brand love. There's obviously so many more examples, but this is a start if you don't know what I'm talking about. And if you want to learn more about the topic, it's very interesting. Go check out these companies, follow them on LinkedIn, follow the team members that are actively creating content, that are acting like influencers, industry experts that work for those companies. I promise you'll be enlightened and you'll likely be interested in learning more and chatting more about this topic. Let me know if you were familiar with this conversation before, what you think about it, and if you have questions, drop them in the comments below. And that's all from me. Hope you like this video. Hope you give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Hey, I just realized I forgot to say something. There was a podcast episode that I came across and it was so timely because it was published right around the time I was doing some reading around this topic. It's Dave Gerhardt's B2B Marketing Leaders podcast, and his guest was Chris Walker, another marketing leader that I love following. So I'm going to link that podcast episode in the description box in the comment section below. So if you're interested in thinking, learning more about this topic, I suggest you check that out. And that's all. Bye-bye.